Shalom, we are in Matthew 11. And it came to be when Yeshua ended instructing his 12 taught ones, that he set out from there to teach and to proclaim in their cities. And when Yohanan had heard in the prison of the works of Messiah, he sent 2 of his taught ones and said to him, "Are you the coming one, or do we look for another?" And Yeshua answering said to them, "Go report to Yohanan that you hear and see. Blind receive sight and lame walk. Lepers are cleansed and deaf hear. Dead are raised up and poor are brought the good news. And blessed is he who does not stumble in me." And as these were going, Yeshua began to say to the crowds concerning Yohanan, "Did you go out into the wilderness to see a reed shaken by the wind? But what did you go out to see? A man dressed in soft garments. Look, those wearing soft garments are in the houses of sovereigns. But what did you go out to see? A prophet? Yes, I say to you, and more than a prophet. For this is he of whom it is written, 'See, I send my messenger before your face, who shall prepare your way before you.' Truly I say to you, among those born of women, there is not risen one greater than Yohanan, the immerser. Yet the least one in the reign of heavens is greater than he. And from the days of Yohanan, the immerser, till now, the reign of the heavens is violated, and the violent seize it. For all the prophets and the Torah prophesied till Yohanan. And if you wish to accept it, he is Eliyahu, who is about to come. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. And to what shall I compare this generation? It is like children sitting in the marketplaces and calling to their companions and saying, 'We played the flute for you, and you did not dance. We lamented to you, and you did not beat the breast. For Yohanan came neither eating nor drinking, and they say, he has a demon. The son of Adam came eating and drinking, and they say, he has a demon.' And they say, 'See, a man, a glutton and a wine drinker, a friend of tax collectors and sinners, and wisdom has declared right by her works.' Then he began to reproach the cities in which most of his miracles had been done, because they did not repent. 'Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Beth Saida! Because if the miracles which were done in you had been done in Sor and Sidon, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. But I say to you, it shall be more bearable for Sor and Sidon in the days of judgment than for you. And you, Capharnaum, who were exalted to the heaven, shall be brought down to Sheol. Because if the miracles which were done in you had been done in Sodom, it would have remained until this day. But I say to you that it shall be more bearable for the land of Sodom in the day of judgment than for you." At that time, Yeshua responding said, "I thank you, Father, Master of the heavens and earth, because you have hidden these matters from clever and learned ones, and have revealed them to babes. Yes, Father, because so it was well-pleasing in your sight, and all have been handed over to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, nor does anyone know the Father except the Son, and he to whom the Son wishes to reveal him. Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I shall give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn from me, for I am meek and humble in heart, and you shall find rest for your beings. For my yoke is gentle, and my burden is light." Chapter 12. At that time Yeshua went through the grain fields on the Sabbath, and his taught ones were hungry, and began to pluck heads of grain to eat. And when the Pharisees saw it, they said to him, "Look, your taught ones are doing what is not right to do on the Sabbath." But he said to them, have you not read that what David did when he was hungry, he and those who were with him? How he went into the house of Elohim and ate the showbread, which was not right for him to eat, nor for those who were with him, but only for the priests? Or did you not read in the Torah that on the Sabbath the priests in the set-apart place profane the Sabbath and are blameless? But I say to you that in this place there is one greater than the set-apart place. And if you had known what this means, I desire compassion and not offering, you would not have condemned the blameless. For the Son of Adam is master of the Sabbath. And having left there, he went into their congregation. And see, there was a man having a withered hand. And they asked him, saying, is it right to heal on the Sabbath? So as to accuse him. And he said to them, what man is there among you who has one sheep, and if it falls into a pit on the Sabbath, shall not take hold of it and lift it out? How much more worth is a man than a sheep? So it is right to do good on the Sabbath. Then he said to the man, stretch out your hand. And he stretched it out, and it was restored as healthy as the other. But the Pharisees went out and took counsel against him so as to destroy him. But Yeshua, knowing it, withdrew from there. Excuse me. And large crowds followed him, and he healed them all, and warned them not to make him known, in order that what was spoken by Yeshayahu the prophet might be filled, saying, see my servant whom I have sent, whom I have chosen, my beloved in whom my being did delight. I shall put my spirit upon him, and he shall declare right ruling to the nations. He shall not strive nor cry out, nor shall anyone hear his voice in the streets. A crushed reed he shall not break, and smoking flax he shall not quench, till he brings forth right ruling to overcome, and the nations shall trust in his name. Then they brought him to one who was demon-possessed, blind and dumb, and he healed him. So that the blind and dumb man both spoke and saw. And all the crowd were amazed and said, is this the son of David? But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, this one does not cast out demons except by Beelzebub, the ruler of the demons. And Yeshua knew their thoughts and said to them, every reign divided against itself is laid waste, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then does his reign stand? And if I, by Beelzebub, do cast out demons, by whom do your sons cast them out? Because of this they shall be your judges. But if I cast out demons by the Spirit of Elohim, then the reign of Elohim has come upon you. Or how is one able to enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods, unless he first binds the strong man, and then he shall plunder his house? He who is not with me is against me, and he who does not gather with me scatters abroad. Because of this I say to you, all sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven men, but the blasphemy against the Spirit shall not be forgiven men. And whoever speaks a word against the Son of Adam, it shall be forgiven him. But whoever speaks against the set-apart Spirit, it shall not be forgiven him, either in this age or in the age to come. Either make the tree good and its fruit good, or else make the tree rotten and its fruit rotten, for a tree is known by its fruit. Brood of adders, how are you able to speak what is good, being wicked? For the mouth speaks from the overflow of the heart. The good man brings forth what is good from the good treasure of his heart, and the wicked man brings forth what is wicked from the wicked treasure. And I say to you that for every idle word men speak, they shall give an account of it in the day of judgment. For by your words you shall be declared righteous, and by your words you shall be declared unrighteous. Then some of the scribes and Pharisees answered, saying, Teacher, we wish to see a sign from you. But he answering said to them, a wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and no sign shall be given to it except the sign of the prophet Jonah. For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the stomach of the great fish, so shall the Son of Adam be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Men of Nineveh shall stand up in the judgment with this generation and condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonah. And look, a greater than Jonah is here. The sovereigness of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, for she came from the ends of the earth to hear the wisdom of Shlomo. And look, a greater than Shlomo is here. Now when the unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places, seeking rest, and finds none. Then it says, I shall return to my house from which I came, and when it comes, it finds it empty, swept and decorated. Then it goes and takes with it 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and they enter and dwell there. And the last of that man is worse than the first. So shall it also be with this wicked generation. And while he was still talking to the crowds, see, his mother and brothers stood outside, seeking to speak with him. And one said to him, see, your mother and your brothers are standing outside, seeking to speak with you. But he answering said to the one who spoke to him, who is my mother, and who are my brothers? And having stretched out his hand towards his taught ones, he said, see, my mother and my brothers? For whoever does the desire of my Father who is in the heavens is my brother, and sister, and mother. Chapter 13. And on that day, Yeshua went out of the house and sat by the sea, and large crowds were gathered together to him, so that he went into a boat and sat down, and all the crowd stood on the beach. And he spoke to them much in parables, saying, see, the sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some indeed fell by the wayside, and the birds came and devoured them. And others fell on rocky places, where they did not have much soil. And immediately they sprang up, because they had no depth of soil. But when the sun was up, they were scorched. And because they had no root, they withered. And others fell among thorns, and the thorns came up and choked them. And others fell on good soil, and yielded a crop, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. And the taught ones came and said to him, why do you speak to them in parables? And he answering said to them, because it has been given to you to know the secrets of the reign of the heavens, but to them it has not been given. For whoever possesses, to him more shall be given, and he shall have overflowingly. But whoever does not possess, even what he possesses shall be taken away from him. Because of this I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. And in them the prophecy of Yeshayahu is completely filled, which says, hearing you shall hear, and by no means understand, and seeing you shall see, and by no means perceive. For the heart of this people has become thickened, and their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their heart and turn back, and I heal them. And blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. For truly I say to you that many prophets and righteous ones longed to see what you see, and did not see it, and to hear what you hear, and did not hear it. You then hear the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the reign and does not understand it, then the wicked one comes and snatches away what was sown in his heart. This is that sown by the wayside. And that sown on rocky places, this is he who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. Yet he has no root in himself, but is short-lived, and when pressure or persecution arises because of the word, immediately he stumbles. And that sown among the thorns is he who hears the word, and the worry of this age and the deceit of riches choke the word, and it becomes fruitless. And that sown on the good soil is he who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears fruit and yields, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. Another parable he put before them, saying, the rain of the heavens has become like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed darnel among the wheat and went away. And when the blade sprouted and bore fruit, then the darnel also appeared. And the servants of the master of the house came and said to him, Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? From where then does it have the darnel? And he said to them, a man, an enemy, did this. And the servants said to him, do you wish then that we go and gather them up? But he said, no, lest while you gather up the darnel, you also uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And at the time of harvest, I shall say to the reapers, first gather the darnel and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my granary. Another parable he put before them, saying, the rain of the heavens is like a mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is less than all the seeds. But when it is grown, it is greater than the plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the heavens come and dwell in its branches. Another parable he spoke to them. The rain of the heavens is like leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal until all was leavened. Yeshua said all this to the crowds in parables, and he did not speak to them without a parable, so that what was spoken by the prophet might be filled, saying, I shall open my mouth in parables. I shall pour forth what has been hidden from the foundation of the world. Then, having sent the crowds away, Yeshua went into the house, and his taught ones came to him, saying, explain to us the parable of the darnel of the field. And he answering said to them, he who is sowing the good seed is the son of Adam, and the field is the world. And the good seed, these are the sons of the rain, but the darnel are the sons of the wicked one. And the enemy who sowed them is the devil. And the harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are the messengers. As the darnel then is gathered and burned in the fire, so it shall be at the end of this age. The son of Adam shall send out his messengers, and they shall gather out of his reign all the stumbling blocks and those doing lawlessness, and shall throw them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous shall shine forth as the sun in the reign of their Father. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Again, the rain of the heavens is like treasure hidden in a field, which a man, having found it, hid. And for joy over it, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. Again, the rain of the heavens is like a man, a merchant, seeking fine pearls, who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Again, the rain of the heavens is like a dragnet that was thrown into the sea and gathered some of every kind, which when it was filled, they drew to shore, and they sat down and gathered the good into the containers, but threw the rotten away. Thus shall it be at the end of an age. The messengers shall come forth and separate the wicked out of the midst of the righteous, and shall throw them into the furnace of the fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Yeshua said to them, Have you understood all of this? They said to him, Yes, master. And he said to them, Therefore every scholar taught in the reign of the heavens is like a householder, who brings out of his treasure matters renewed and old. And it came to be, when Yeshua had ended these parables, that he left there. And when he had come to his own country, he taught them in their congregation, so that they were astonished and said, Where did this one get this wisdom and miracles? Is this not the son of the carpenter? Is this not his mother called Miriam, and his brothers Yaakov and Joseph and Shimon and Yehuda? And his sisters, are they not all with us? Where then did this one get all this? And they stumbled at him. But Yeshua said to them, A prophet is not unappreciated, except in his own country and in his own house. And he did not do many miracles there because of their unbelief. Chapter 14. At that time, Herodes, the district ruler, heard the report about Yeshua and said to his servants, This is Yohanan the Immerser. He has risen from the dead, and that is why these mighty powers are at work in him. For Herodes had arrested Yohanan, bound him, and put him in prison, because Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, for Yohanan had said to him, It is not right for you to have her. And wishing to kill him, he feared the crowd, because they held him as a prophet. But as Herodes' birthday was being held, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herodes. So he promised with an oath to give her whatever she asked. And she, being urged on by her mother, said, Give me here the head of Yohanan the Immerser on a dish. And the sovereign was sad, but because of the oaths and the guests, he commanded it to be given, and sent and beheaded Yohanan in prison. And his head was brought on a dish and given to the girl, and she brought it to her mother. And his taught ones came and took away the body and buried it, and went and reported to Yeshua. Now when Yeshua heard it, he withdrew from there by boat to a deserted place by himself. And when the crowds heard it, they followed him on foot from the cities. And when Yeshua came out, he saw a large crowd and was moved with compassion for them, and healed their sick. And when evening came, excuse me, his taught ones came to him, saying, This is a deserted place, and the hour is already late. Dismiss the crowds, so that they might go into the villages and buy food for themselves. But Yeshua said to them, They do not need to go away. Give them to eat yourselves. And they said to him, We have here only 5 loaves and 2 fish. And he said, Bring them here to me. And commanding the crowds to sit down on the grass, and taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to the heaven, he blessed and broke and gave the loaves to the taught ones. And the taught ones gave to the crowds, and all ate and were satisfied. And they picked up the pieces left over, 12 baskets filled. And those who ate were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. And immediately Yeshua made his taught ones enter into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. And having dismissed the crowds, he went up to the mountain by himself to pray. And when evening had come, he was alone there. But the boat was now in the middle of the sea, agitated by the waves, for the wind was against it. And in the 4th watch of the night, Yeshua went to them, walking on the sea. And when the taught ones saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, Is it a phantom? And from fear they cried. But immediately Yeshua spoke to them, saying, Take courage, it is I. Do not be afraid. And Kepha answered him and said, Master, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water. And he said, come. And when Kepha had come down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Yeshua. But when he saw that the wind was strong, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, Master, save me. And immediately Yeshua stretched out his hand and took hold of him, and said to him, O you of little belief, why did you doubt? And when they came into the boat, the wind ceased, and those in the boat came and did bow to him, saying, Truly you are the Son of Elohim. And having passed over, they came to the land of Gensar. And when the men of the place recognized him, they sent out into all the surrounding country, and brought to him all who were sick, and begged him to let them only touch the tzitzit of his garment. And as many as touched it were completely healed. Chapter 15. Then there came to Yeshua scribes and Pharisees from Jerusalem, saying, Why do your taught ones transgress the tradition of the elders? For they do not wash their hands when they eat bread. But he answering said to them, Why do you also transgress the command of Elohim, because of your tradition? For Elohim has commanded, saying, Respect your father and your mother. And he who curses father or mother, let him be put to death. But you say, Whoever says to his father or mother, Whatever profit you might have received from me has been dedicated, is certainly released from respecting his father or mother, so you have nullified the command of Elohim by your tradition. Hypocrites! Yeshayahu rightly prophesied about you, saying, This people draw near to me with their mouth and respect me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain do they worship me, teaching as teachings the commands of men. And calling the crowd near, he said to them, Hear and understand. Not that which goes into the mouth that defiles the man, but that which comes out of the mouth, this defiles the man. Then his taught ones came and said to him, Do you know that the Pharisees stumbled when they heard this word? But he answering said, Every plant which my heavenly Father has not planted shall be uprooted. Leave them alone. They are blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind leads the blind, both shall follow into a ditch. And Kepha answering said to him, Explain this parable to us. And Yeshua said, Are you also still without understanding? Do you not understand that whatever enters into the mouth goes into the stomach and is cast out in the sewer? But what comes out of the mouth comes from the heart, and these defile the man. For out of the heart come forth wicked reasonings, murders, adulteries, whorings, thefts, false witnessing, slanders. These defile the man. But to eat with unwashed hands does not defile the man. And Yeshua went out from there and withdrew to the parts of Sor and Sidon. And see, a woman of Canaan came from those borders and cried out to him, saying, Have compassion on me, O Master, son of David. My daughter is badly demon-possessed. But he did not answer her a word. And his taught ones came and asked him, saying, Send her away, because she cries after us. And he answering said, I was not sent, except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But she came and was bowing to him, saying, Master, help me. And he answering said, It is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs. But she said, Yes, master, for even the little dogs eat the crumbs which fall from their master's table. And Yeshua answering said to her, O woman, your belief is great. Let it be to you as you desire. And her daughter was healed from that hour. And moving from there, Yeshua came toward the Sea of Galilee, and going up on the mountain, he was sitting there. And large crowds came to him, having with them those who were lame, blind, dumb, crippled, and many others, and they laid down at the feet of Yeshua, and he healed them, so that the crowd marveled when they saw the dumb speaking, the crippled well, and the lame walking, and the blind seeing, and they praised the Elohim of Israel. And Yeshua, having called his taught ones near, said, I have compassion on the crowd, because they have now continued with me 3 days, and do not have whatever to eat. And I do not wish to send them away hungry, lest they faint on the way. And his taught ones said to him, where are we to get enough bread in the desert to satisfy such a large crowd? And Yeshua said to them, how many loaves do you have? And they said, 7, and a few little fish. And he commanded the crowd to sit down on the ground. And taking the 7 loaves and the fish, giving thanks, he broke them and gave to his taught ones, and the taught ones to the crowd. And all ate and were satisfied. And they picked up what was left over of the broken pieces, 7 large baskets filled. And those who ate were 4,000 men, besides women and children. And diminishing the crowd, he went into the boat and came to the borders of Magdala. Shalom.